Welcome back, everybody. It's Primetime Active Sports. We are here. We're in the midst of Divisional Round. A lot of good playoff games happening. A lot of blowouts, too, but we got to see a couple good ones as well. Shocker, Cleveland got knocked out. The Texans, I think a lot of people wrote them off. The Chiefs got it done against Miami, which was slated to be one of the better games. Tyreek Hill's return. The Bills, they're looking good. It's Bills versus Chiefs this week. But let's just kind of recap. We got a lot to go over. We got the Wildcard, Divisional Round, Fantasy, future picks, the coaching carousel that's going on. But Slayer, how's it going? Let's hear your input about the Wildcard Weekend that's already happened in our playoff brackets. Dallas, shocker.
Oh yeah, it's going great. I just gotta say I'm excited, for the Divisional Round weekend. I'm excited for some good fights on this weekend too. Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. That'll be a banger middleweight title fight in the UFC.
Right.
But as far as Divisional Round and recapping the Wildcard Weekend, just a lot of surprises, especially with that Dallas game. I gotta say, what's another one? What are the other games that were played? The Bills, that one was not much of a surprise.
The Steelers hung around.
Yeah, but I thought the best game of Wildcard Weekend was 100% the Lions and the Rams game.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, that dude's as tough as it gets. And to see him, get knocked out, unconscious, and then to come to, and then to finish the game. I've only seen a few guys do that, one of them being Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion of the world boxing.
Totally different sport too.
Yeah, and then you have Puka Nacua, the rookie just balling out.
Rookie of the year.
And he took a lot of hard hits too. That was an old school, to me, that was like a physical football game, and the refs let him play, and it was like a little old school, so I enjoyed it a lot. I wanted the Rams to win because I had them in my bracket, and also I love Matthew Stafford. He's a dog. He's such a good quarterback, and I wanted the road team to win, the wildcard team underdog team to win. But
the only road team to win was the Packers.
Yeah, other than that, wow, Green Bay Packers are hot right now, and then the Chiefs, they look like what we expected them to look like all year, but
clicking also Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, so they just turned it on now, and then battle the young guns. CJ Stroud, he's looking like he's well deserved of that number 2 overall pick, looking like a rookie of the year as well. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this divisional round. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think CJ Stroud said a lot of people took them as underdogs when they were at home, when they had the better record. The Browns were the Browns, a little more seasoned bet. And I had them actually winning, but home field really makes a huge difference, and Texans are hitting on all cylinders. That offense with Nico Collins, no Tank Dell, but Nico Collins is popping off.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud gets it done. He looks so poised, and he's looking like a great Ohio State quarterback, which is very hard to find nowadays from college to pro. So they take on the Ravens, number 1 seed. The Ravens are, also one of the hottest teams. They got the MVP favorite and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
It's going to be a colder game. It's projected to be a lower scoring game. I'm going to think it's going to be higher scoring. I believe it's like 41 points to over-under, which that sounds really, really low, all things considered. So, who do you got? You got the underdog again, or are you taking the Ravens?
I got to take the Ravens in this one. And the only reason why I take the Ravens is because of, they've had those 2 weeks rest.
Yeah.
3 weeks rest, realistically.
Basically, yeah, they bench all the starters. That's right. That's
so they're going to be healthy. They don't have any Marlon Humphrey, which is a big thing for those Texans receivers. But it's going to be cold. We saw how CJ Stroud did in his last game when he played in the cold against the Jets and against a good defense, and he didn't play too well. But anything can happen, and CJ Stroud's that dude. It just depends on how you show up that day. But I like the way the Ravens defense has been playing. They're physical. I think that's exactly how they're going to play. They'll play fast. They're going to, that offense and just the Ravens' whole scheme this year has been so methodical, and you see it in their play calling and the way their offense is run and their defense. So I got the Ravens at home. I think the home field advantage plays a really big factor in this one because the Texans play in a dome, and like you said, it's going to be cold. Crowd's going to be going crazy. So it's going to be the toughest challenge of the year.
Yep.
But you never know. The Texans are hot right now. They're playing good, and anything can happen, especially when you got a good quarterback like Stroud.
Yeah, it'll be closer than I think a lot of people think. But rest over rust, I believe this team is rested. He coached well. These guys have all been there before. Lamar Jackson, already an MVP. Under his belt, been to the playoffs before. He's young. He's looking like, well worth the money. I'm taking the Ravens as well at home just because, they got the 1 seed for a reason. The more interesting one on the AFC is the Chiefs versus Bills. Another rematch. These teams have been going at it for years. The Bills are the favorite because this is the first time Patrick Mahomes has been on the road in a playoff. But long story short, I don't think it matters. Patty Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP. He's got all these like hot records. Yeah, they're not what they used to be. You know, they're not clicking. You know, but like you said, last game against Miami, yeah, they were at home, and I don't think Tua and those guys are used to playing in the cold. But I mean, they're still Patrick Mahomes. You can't count them out. I don't care if it's on the road. Look how many times Tom Brady went on the road and was successful. Big Ben was on the road and was successful. Look at Joe Flacco was successful. So this is going to be a huge game, I think, for Patrick Mahomes because, you know, last time they matched up the Kadarius Toney offset play, offensive offsides, when they almost won it. So I know they're a little gritty about that, but the Bills are just as gritty because, you know, it's 13 seconds that they left Patrick Mahomes to get down the field and lost it in the playoffs a couple years ago. It's going to be fun. But I'm taking the Chiefs. Let's go.
Yeah, that Chiefs.
Even though I'm a Chargers fan, sorry, but I don't like the Bills.
Yeah, that Chiefs one's interesting because, you know, based on the way they played last week, you know, you're going to be like, dang, I want to take the Chiefs. But
yeah,
as long as Josh Allen can keep the turnovers at a minimum, you know, I think I'm going with Bills Mafia. So I've had Bills Mafia.
You know, in your bracket?
I do. But I think the Bills are playing good football defensively, offensively. You know, got that 2 tight end set back. Dalton Kincaid's playing at, you know, at a high level again. And like I said, if Josh Allen can keep the turnovers down, I think the Bills got this one.
That's very key. That's very key. Well, we'll see how that one goes. All right, NFC was really interesting because we had the Eagles that were, you know, Super Bowl rating, NFC rating champions, but they went to the Buccaneers and they lost that. They skidded out. They started 10-1. You know, lost the next 5 games. They lost home field to Dallas, which obviously didn't matter because Dallas boofed it. But anyways, the Bucs, you know, they're looking like they're rocking and rolling. They're Baker, you know, people kind of counted him out, wrote him off, and look what he's done. He's bringing this team to the divisional round. He's got more playoff wins than the Browns ever had in history of their franchise. So it's going to be really fun, and they're facing the Lions. So the Lions, you know, that running game is just one of the best in the game. Jared Goff, when he's at home, is really excellent. Their defense is coming around.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting one. I think it's going to be a lot of offensive fireworks. It's going to come down to probably a field goal. But who do you got in this one? I'll give you my opinion after.
Oh, man. This one's tough. And, you know, it's almost like a coin flip, I feel like, with this one. Because the two teams, I mean, for me, I gotta take Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Wow, upset alert.
I'm gonna take the upset. I don't know why. I mean,
let Baker cook.
Yeah, I mean the Bucks team. I mean they're very close to being under 500 this year.
They had an easy division.
Very easy division, and they beat up, you know, a Eagles team that was limping into the playoffs. You know, almost kind of like the Bucks team last year. That was kind of what it was like. But
it's hard to repeat and go back.
Yeah, so. Just for the fact that I think it's going to be a hard-fought win. Like you said, I think it'll be very close because, you know, Jared Goff is playing he plays his best football at home inside a dome. They're playing hot football right now. You're probably the best backfield in the NFL.
Easily.
The offense is very dynamic, and they're coached very well. They got a strong leader in Dan Campbell behind them. I love that guy. But I think, you know, the Ford Field, I think it's a stadium that can be played in, and it's a home field that can be won in because, you know, like you said, you don't got to worry about outside conditions. All you got to worry about is the crowd noise. And, you know, that
and Eminem's showing back up.
That does play a big factor.
Lose yourself.
But the crowd noise plays a factor. We all know that. Yeah. But Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's playing hot right now. He's that dude. He showed up last week. So I'm going to roll with Baker. I'm gonna switch up and make it fun. Maybe it's not with my head, it's with my heart, but sometimes you gotta roll that way. You have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the bracket, you had both other teams winning, so now it's just a toss-up. But
yeah,
I want to make a little fun fact about Baker. Well, not a fun fact, but bold kind of prediction. I don't know if it's bold. I think it's just honest. I think he deserves comeback player of the year. You know, no offense to Darvin Ham or whatever. Or no, sorry,
Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, Damar Hamlin. Darvin Ham's a coach for Lakers. My bad. But no disrespect, but Baker, you know, like I said, they wrote him off. I think he's making chump change right now for what he's done. He's got a couple incentives, but other than that, I mean, yeah, he won the division. That was weak, but upset week 1 and now divisional. You know, this is great. So
yeah.
But on that note, I'm going to take the Lions just because we mentioned Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery all season long. How they finally formed. You know, they're almost back to back or coexisting 1,000-yard rushers, and that hasn't happened since, you know, D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. So they're really close to that, and they're getting hot. They got their defense and Hutchinson that's looking good. You mentioned the coach that he just pumps those guys up. They they rally around him, and I think a lot of coaches nowadays looking at Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. Players go around players. Players attach themselves to player coaches that actually look out for their guy, not just the X's and O's. They'll go out there for you and make a tackle. So I'm taking the Lions on that one. I think this is probably another really fun, high-scoring game. But home field advantage, Detroit needs something in their life. So I'm gonna take Eminem and Detroit. Let's go.
All right.
Next one. 49ers and Packers. We've seen this matchup so many times over the years with Aaron Rodgers and Garoppolo and I guess Alex Smith or whatever, or Colin Kaepernick, excuse me. But I think a lot of people around the Packers, shout out to Evan. He's believed all year. He's been gifted to have Favre, Rodgers, and now Love in his lifetime. So it'll be interesting. But the 49ers, they're obviously a Super Bowl favorite for a reason, and I think that they should get it done. I'm sorry, Evan, but the Cowboys almost came back. For the Cowboys' offense was still thriving as their defense that really led up that game. I know people were blaming Dak, and it's always going to fall on the quarterback. He had some really costly interceptions after not throwing many at home. They got off to a slow start. We were listening to it and watching it together. You get these hot teams that kind of win the first round, and then they face the juggernaut. And the 49ers are that juggernaut. That's a brick wall ahead of them. By golly, if they can get past them, they should be a Super Bowl favorite. But 49ers are built for this. They've literally been building for this every season with the McCaffrey trade. They go out and get Ayuk in the draft, who's a great player. They got Brock Purdy. That's just a steal. They traded Trey Lance. They believe in him. This is the team that can get them to the championship. Shout out to Grandpa. I'm taking the 49ers.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take the 49ers too.
It's just too hard to bet against them.
Yeah, I think you hit on the head right there with how they've been building for this moment. They're the number one seed in the NFC. They're healthy this year, They got Brock Purdy. They had their quarterback that they believed in last year, and he got hurt in the championship game. And then the second string got hurt or whatever. So
they had McCaffrey quarterback.
Yeah. So and then Purdy had to come back and just hand the ball off the entire game because he couldn't throw the ball. So yeah, I think the 49ers. McCaffrey hurt his ankle week 17.
He's got a lot of rest.
So he's gotten 2 weeks rest or 3 weeks rest, or it's gonna be 3 full weeks until he's played last. So that's gonna be big for the 49ers, and just how they're coached and the way the way that they play football. They run the ball really well. They can stop the run. They play good defense. Purdy, he manages the game extremely well. He gets it to his receivers, Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and the play calling is great. So, and playing in the 49ers at home in the playoffs, man, that's going to be tough. But like you said, Jordan Love is playing hot. Anything can happen in the playoffs. And, those Packers QBs, there's something different in the water there in Wisconsin. Those cheeseheads and those quarterbacks, they got something cooking every year. 3 generations in a row. They got Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and then Jordan Love.
It's looking like it's a hit, too.
So, I'm excited, but I'm taking the 49ers, too. Also, shout out Grandpa.
Okay. I just want to make a quick note about that Jordan Love comparison. They showed something on Instagram, and it was a Brett Favre play, like a bootleg out scrambling, and he just chucks it to the tight end for a touchdown. They did this almost a play-by-play shot of Jordan Love doing the same thing, and it looked identical. I was like, that's so creepy. And Rodgers is known for that too. But all right,